Welcome to Agronomy Moment. I'm your host, Wendell Cohen. We bring in people who agree with me, disagree with me, and above all, are not afraid to say it like it is. Hey, welcome back to Agronomy Moment. Selena's here with me talking about some of the recent storms we've had over the last week or so. And we also have corn that's vulnerable to green snap and so on. So just want to talk about that just a little bit. If you have any of this or have some wind damage and you're wondering what's going on or how to look at it, I want to ask Selena that. What is your thoughts on, first of all, let's just talk about if it's a clean snap, a green snap case.
Yep, so in green snap, if it snaps below the ear, then that would be considered loss at that point. And generally how that works is every percent of snap below the ear would be equivalent to that percent of yield loss. So if you have 1% green snap, you'd have 1% yield loss. However, if you have, for some reason, have that snap above the ear and have leaves still in place there, then that could still contribute to that ear. So we're just going to go ahead and say here, it's below the ear, snap below the ear. It's generally going to be equivalent to the percent. The percent snap will be equivalent to the percent loss.
Okay. Now, what about if you just have a wind event and it just lodges and it starts to grow, kind of makes that curvy look and it comes back?
So if you just have like a lodging event or an event where, it's kind of what you're explaining, like goose-necking back up, straightening back up, then most likely that ear will still be intact and still be able to produce an ear. Now, if that's the full ear, that's really hard to say and use discretion to say that that's going to be normal or maybe not as normal, but it still does have the opportunity, the potential to produce.
Okay. And it's just harder to discern what exactly, depending on if there's so many different cases.
Yeah, and also thinking about like the growth stage of the corn, like if you your growth stage is like V5 to V8, if you have a snap event during that time frame and it for some reason would snap above the growing point or even below the growing point, your neighbors can do a better job at making up for that loss compared to later vegetative into reproductive stages. Whenever you have that snap event occur, the neighbors can't do as good of a job as if they could early. Okay. Another thing that kind of makes green snap or plants more susceptible is a Dicamba application of, a Diflex or a Status or whatever the case may be there would tend to make the plants a little bit more brittle or can. And then, what was I going to say?
Well, one thing I was going to mention a little bit is that you're talking about the brittle, and we also know that, right? Am I correct that like B10 to somewhere up to tassel, it is more vulnerable generally?
Generally, V8, V12 ish, but really, whenever we hit that rapid growth stage, which happens basically right after V5, the corn is just growing really fast, and the lignin in those internodes just doesn't have a lot of time to become rigid. And especially in the conditions we've had, the prevailing wet conditions, that lignin in there is just not maybe solidified as if we would have drier conditions. So that is another thing that kind of makes us probably a little bit more susceptible to the green snap at this point, is just our prevailing wet conditions and to go along with that.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you want to add before we wrap
this up? I think that takes care of it.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you for watching today. We'll see you on the next one.
So, what? I thought it turned out well.
Yeah, I thought it was fine.
If you were Scott Dickey now, you would say something like, "It's about time for lunch."
Yeah,
what else?
Starving.
You're starving?
Yes.
What would he call it, Selena? What does he say? Grub or something. He calls it something else. He doesn't say, "Let's go for lunch." He says, "I'm
I don't know.
ready for something." Call it.
Yeah, Scott, I don't.
You don't know what's going to come out.
Exactly.
But I wish he was here. We could have made a really nice roundtable discussion and
Hey, I got selected.
Field of Drums of the Year.
No.
It's your turn again.
For wave 1 of the whiskey.
It's almost bean time.
So
I got splinters in my hand. I'm cutting
I'm
it.
sorry, what would you say?
It's almost bean time.
Does that mean
lunch.
eating?
Yes.
Lunchtime? Yes, of course. Scott always brings up lunch.
Well, it's
And-
11:30. It's 12 almost.
Camera is still rolling.
No, it's not.
It is.
Oh.
It's been captured. Our tailgate talk that I was hoping to kind of get into. I kind of did that little move over there, like I was shutting it off, and I just kind of coming back.
Yeah, I got that splinter dissected out.